courts is going to be a big story today, the battle between AfriForum and the EFF continuing in the Johannesburg High Court. Just a reminder how we got to this point. AfriForum has brought a civil case over the chanting of the anti-apartheid song Dubulo Ibunu, which translates as "Shoot the Boer." AfriForum's Deputy CEO Ernst Roets joining us this morning. Ernst, good morning to you. Thanks very much for your time. There's actually two issues that we need to discuss with you. We'll also talk about the EFF leader Julius Malema and Mbuyiseni and Ndlozi, you say, bringing or acting against the Constitution. Let's first of all start with where we are in this case with the song "Shoot the Boer." What are you expecting today?
Well, thank you very much. So the court case starts today, and there are actually several different songs that are at play here. The one song in particular is not so much the Dubulo Ibunu, although that song also plays a role in this case. It's actually the more well-known song, "Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer," which was sung by the EFF outside the courtroom, where people were trialed for having committed a farm murder, a well-known farm murder. It was the case of Brendan Horner back in 2020, I presume. But the background here is that the song Dubulo Ibunu, which is "Shoot the Boer," and the song "Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer" have both already been declared hate speech. And what makes this case, what we believe makes our case even stronger, is about 10 years ago when we had that case about the song Dubulo Ibunu, the Supreme Court of Appeals also ruled not only that that song is also hate speech, but in particular that Julius Malema has to encourage his followers not to sing such songs. And if his followers, by implication, sing such songs and he does not encourage them to refrain from singing it, he's not only guilty, or his party is not only guilty of hate speech, he is also committing contempt of court. So it is something that we take very seriously.
And so let's talk about the contempt of court action. Then what are you hoping the court ruling should be in a case like this?
Well, this is a civil matter, so we filed the application in terms of the Equality Act. Hate speech is not a crime in South Africa. It is something for which you can sue and for which you can claim damages. So what we are saying is that there should be a public apology, but also that a court should declare that what has happened in this case was indeed hate speech. We're also asking for a heavy fine to be paid by the EFF and Mbuyiseni, Ndlozi in particular, who made some comments, I should mention that, at this gathering about burning down farms. Shortly whereafter, it indeed happened that farms were, arson was committed on farms not far from there. So we're asking for them to pay damages. Julius Malema in person, Mbuyiseni and Ndlozi in person, and the EFF as an organization, to an institution, not necessarily, not AfriForum, but to an institution that works with on things like the prevention of hate speech and victim support and so forth. We're also asking for them to pay the costs for this court application because it shouldn't have been necessary to go to court in the first place. And we're asking for the civil court to refer this matter for prosecution. In other words, to say, well, this is something that they should probably be prosecuted for having committed a crime, so the matter should go to a criminal court so that they can be prosecuted for that.
AfriForum further going to accuse that Julius Malema and Mbuyiseni and Ndlozi acting against the Constitution. Is it along the same conversation we're having now, or can you give me an idea of what that is about?
Well, yes, so we do have freedom of speech in this country, and freedom of speech is very important and has been described by the Constitutional Court as the cornerstone of democracy, and it is crucial. We know there are some countries in the world where there's almost absolute freedom of speech, such as the USA. In South Africa, we have certain limits on freedom of speech. In the USA as well, people just don't tend to realize it. But the fact of the matter is hate speech is real. Unfortunately, we have a culture in the world today where people tend to accuse everyone of having committed hate speech. But actual hate speech is when you identify a group of people, usually based on their skin color or their religion or their ethnicity or nationality. You identify a group of people and then you encourage harm or you encourage violence. You encourage people to inflict violence on that group, for example. And that is clearly what's happening here. When you go outside a courtroom where where people are being trialed for having committed a farm murder, having murdered a farmer, and you stand outside the courtroom and you sing "Kill the Boer, kill the farmer," and you make hand gestures about shooting someone with a machine gun and so forth. In our view, that's clearly hate speech, and we believe we have a very strong case because the Johannesburg High Court has also declared that it is hate speech, and the Human Rights Commission has also declared that it is hate speech. So, so as far as we are concerned, this is a clear-cut case.
And we'll be following it very closely. I appreciate your time. It's AfriForum Deputy CEO Ernst Roets joining us this morning. Big court case Toombs a little later. No doubt we're going to have live updates and any breaking news that comes from that. So AfriForum and the fight against EFF continuing about the song Shoot the Boer, also the other song Shoot the Boer, Kill the Farmer. So that's getting underway, I'm quite certain, as soon as courts open this morning.